Hey everybody, welcome to Goots' Wrestling Pod. We are back, and we're here to talk about Starrcade 91, and of course, the huge news: R-Truth is back in WWE. How do you feel about
Yo,
this, Andrew Libro?
yo, the ruffle shuffle. Yo, what do you call it? The biggest star of them all has returned.
Yeah,
R-Truth
R-Truth
returned.
is finally back.
Looking like he's 25 years old.
CM Punk came back last week, and I loved it. It made so many people look like fucking idiots. His return.
What a Survivor Series. 3 returns, right? Randy Orton, R-Truth, and CM Punk. Wow.
Yeah.
3-1. Do you think it was smart bringing all three back in one pay-per-view, one premium line event?
Yes.
Okay.
Randy Orton was due, and you have to start building to Randy Orton, Roman Reigns at Royal Rumble. So you have to start.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and this was the perfect time for CM Punk to come back. There was never going to be a better day than that day. It didn't matter if you had 20 returns. CM Punk had to be like the last one. Because this day is such a perfect day to stick it to Tony Khan. If CM Punk came back tonight at Barclays, if CM Punk came back at the Rumble in Florida, if CM Punk comes back at Russell, it doesn't have the effect of Chicago. 2 months to the day where 3 months to the day where Tony Khan puts "I was afraid for my life" in the same town. You had to do that to deliver. No matter when he returns, it's going to be a fatal blow to AEW, but this is like a triple fatal blow to AEW.
It's definitely the right city.
Yes, it had to be. It had to be.
It had to be, yeah, it had to be Chicago. Yeah,
Yeah.
Survivor Series in Chicago. Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what I love
So
about?
yeah, go ahead.
I love that like all these fucking wrestling experts were like, he's definitely not coming back. They're not signing him. He's not coming back. There's no way. Da, 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 da. How the fuck, if you watch wrestling for more than 4 minutes, do you not figure that bringing him back in Chicago on the Survivor Series night is the right move for business? And it just makes sense from like a storytelling and it would be the best day for the fans to be excited. How the fuck are you that stupid, Dave Meltzer and Sean Ross Sapp, that you don't realize that?
Well, to be fair, I also did not think he was going to show up, but guess what? I don't call myself a wrestling media.
You don't charge people for your
Exactly.
newsletter
Exactly.
or your
You, however, did get it right.
yeah.
I don't know if we mentioned it. Did we ever mention in the pod
We
about like
talked about it a little bit, and I think I said I got to go back, but I think I said I knew he was going to come back the minute Tony Khan said I was afraid for my life. I knew he was coming back. That was the moment I think he decided I'm going back to WWE.
Mhm. I did not think he was gonna come back because I thought Triple H just didn't want to. They've had bad blood. I don't think he wanted to sign him. But to Triple H's credit, like in the post media scrum for Survivor Series, he did say like, "Hey, it's been 10 years. I've changed. He's changed. You gotta change. If you don't change, something's wrong with you." And
Yeah.
he's right. And I'll be honest, I really think Triple H, ever since he had that heart thing and everything, he really is like a changed person. Like
Yeah.
he doesn't seem like he's like the same guy who was like just handed the belt on Raw one day. He's a different dude, and I think you think him and CM Punk squashed everything.
Oh yeah. I heard. I don't know where I heard it, but I heard they were on the phone for like an hour at some point. Yeah, you have to squash everything. But also, like, I also think the big reason why CM Punk came back is that, and why they want to come back is he has a great relationship with the UFC and with Dana White and with Endeavor. He has a great relationship with them. Dana White says he's one of the best guys to deal with of all time. Nick Khan is in charge, and I also think Nick Khan probably studied the numbers of AEW. I told you, Ringside Collectibles said that he by far outsells all the other AEW figures by far. And I'm sure that Nick Khan had someone look at those numbers in terms of what the attendance was, what the merch has been for Shop AEW, and what the toy sales were. And he probably realized this guy is a difference maker. And I guarantee you, WWE, just based on T-shirt sales and YouTube revenue, has made $1 million in 6 days off this guy alone.
Yeah, I think he's a look. He was a top merchandise seller in AEW, right? And he is going to be a top merchandise seller in WWE. If he was going to go to in TNA wrestling, he was going to be the top merchandise
Yeah.
seller there. If he was going to go to New Japan Wrestling, he was going to be a top merchandise seller there. He, as I hate to go back to this press conference that Triple H did, but he said whatever your feelings are, whether you like it or not, CM Punk is a personality that people cannot help but talk about. People cannot help being drawn to. This guy, he's the top guy as far as
Yeah.
merchandise goes and as far as popularity goes. And
And I think when they look,
it's a company that doesn't even need this money at this point, but they're just gonna be making money. They're gonna be printing money basically.
but that's what Endeavor. But and the other thing too is I think if you look at it, I think if you're a Nick Khan, you're not going to let a guy like Hangman Adam Page or Colt Cabana or Jungle Boy get CM Punk to the level of upset he got. He's not going to allow Otis. What is the equivalent? Otis, Tyson Kidd, and fucking Brian Pillman Jr. to rile this guy up to where he's like fighting people backstage. It's not going to happen because if an Otis starts antagonizing Punk, Nick Khan's going to pull Otis aside and be like, you need to shut the fuck up. This guy moves a ton of merch. Shut up. Squash it right now or there's going to be problems. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think WWE, because it's you're the leadership in charge has real leadership. Mm-hmm. Tony Khan is a guy who hides from or runs away from situations. Yeah. He doesn't face it head on. That's the clear sign of a failed leader, If you're a leader, you're the one who has to go in there and nip the problems in the butt. And this guy doesn't do that, You guys want a clear example when they were doing that all out media scrum afterwards, the post-show media scrum.
Roll out.
Punk, all out, where CM Punk's going off and the leader is sitting right there next to him.
Yeah,
he's right there next to him. And that's a clear example of how he's dealing with the problems. And dude, AEW is gonna be, even if they lose a lot of money, I guess they'll be fine at the end of the day because they're filthy rich. But that company's in bad place right now. They're in a very bad place.
To me, they're TNA. I thought back to, I said, when was, because they're about to be 5 years old. I'm like, when was TNA 5 years old?
Like, 5 years old. AEW is about to be 5 years old.
On January 1st, they're 5 years old because that's when the Elite showed the little thing. And I still got to
but that technically didn't start. When did they actually start?
I mean, May, but I consider that announcement to be the 5-year anniversary. They started selling merch on January 1st. I consider January 1st the 5-year anniversary.
October 2nd, 2019 is where they first started Dynamite.
I know, but but they were selling tickets already. I think the start is when you start selling tickets and selling merch and promoting and stuff.
I think that's fair. Okay.
So I say January 1st is the 5-year anniversary. And when TNA started, I really wanted them to be good. I gave up on them a little bit. I went back. They got good again. Then they got bad. And I thought by 2007, I kind of had TNA figured out. And they never really changed. If you go back to 2007 TNA, besides Kurt Angle leaving, they really, and AJ Styles, they haven't really changed they didn't really change. They are what they are from 2007 to today, except they're actually dumber today. I would say they're actually dumber of a company today. And I think that's with AEW. They are what they are. They're not going to change. They're not going to evolve. And he likes what he likes, but what he likes, I don't like. And that people still have this, they're new, no, they're not new anymore. They're not figuring out. Bro, 2 years ago, you had CM Punk and Cody Rhodes, and now WWE has them, and you have Ric Flair and Jeff Jarrett. I mean, come on. I mean,
and Satnam Singh.
And who?
And Satnam Singh.
Yeah, it's like, dude, come on. And the big thing, and the big fucking thing that I saw on Wednesday that I was like, they're so fucked. They don't know what to do. MJF was cutting a promo about Samoa Joe, and he goes, Samoa Joe was never given the opportunity to be the WWE champion in WWE. Now, okay, if you're talking about booking the show, like wrestling's fake, if you're talking like Vince McMahon's like he's not gonna be champion, okay, that's true. But if we're supposed to believe wrestling's real in the context of kayfabe, he was given title shots against AJ Styles on SmackDown, on pay-per-views, at SummerSlam, and he couldn't get the job done. He got pinned by AJ Styles. So what you're saying is fucking wrong. It's fucking bull. And he also won the NXT title twice. This whole thing, like, and it's like, dude, that's so like you're still like doing this. WWE held all of us down and stuff. It's fucking pathetic. Like that was and MJF made a face like I'm just telling the truth, and it's like, bro, if we're supposed to believe, like he had title shots, he just couldn't win. You know, what are we supposed to think? Wrestling's fake, and Vince McMahon didn't want to be champion. Like, what is it?
Yeah, I saw that promo. I didn't like it.
The character had title shots.
They got to take the title off MJF. It's just,
and they got
like, never. There's never been a time in wrestling where if attendance goes down and ratings go down while somebody is champion, that the champion doesn't take any fucking sort of blame for that.
Yeah,
you know, this is ridiculous. How long he's had this belt. I would be like, I would have put it on Jay White. Jay White is just another guy.
Dude, that main event with Jay White and MJF was one of the worst main events I've ever seen. And I didn't like the swerves. Did you like Swerve Strickland Hangman Page? I didn't.
No, I don't watch those kind of matches.
So I didn't like it. But Swerve Strickland came out of that match harder than ever. He should be getting the world title shot, not Samoa Joe. And instead, he's in this Continental Classic, which again, like, this whole like fake New Japan bullshit nobody cares about. And it's just he's never not going to be Tony Khan. He's never not going to. He only books for Dave Meltzer, and that's why the customer base doesn't go up.
And 100% think Swerve should really be he should be the champ at this point.
He should be having a title shot at World's End.
Yeah, he's doing great. Swerve is doing great.
But this is what they're gonna do. They're gonna waste weeks and months in this Continental Classic with Swerve. Even if he wins it, I don't give a fuck if he wins it. It's still gonna be a waste of time. And then Tony's gonna forget that Swerve exists, and he's gonna be off. He's gonna be like the Acclaimed. A year ago, the Acclaimed were the hottest act in the company. Now people think they suck.
Yes,
people look at them like they're lame as fuck. Because he had them losing to Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. That was ridiculous. I can't believe that happened. So, you know what else is ridiculous? This Starrcade 1991.
Okay, I'm going to say this. I know I just shit on TNA and AEW a lot. They have never produced a show as bad as this. Either company.
Ooh, I don't know. Well, okay, not AEW. To be fair, AEW, they haven't had a bad...
AEW hasn't produced a show like this, ever.
Yeah, they haven't produced a bad pay-per-view, but, man, TNA has put on some stinkers, bro.
Dude,
they put on some stinker pay-per-view.
Well, you're gonna have to watch them all. So,
yeah.
I think you're gonna be eating your words after when we get a few years.
This Starrcade 1991 was like, it took me forever to finish.
This was one of the worst shows I've ever seen. This was, I can't believe people have the balls. They have the balls to go on the internet and say Great American Bash 91 and Halloween Havoc 91 are horrible shows when this exists. This was an abomination. And
I don't think it's as bad as Bunkhouse Stampede, I think.
I think it's just as bad.
There was a lot of, there were a lot of bad moments in this. And I think it starts from, there's no mention of Jason Harvey, and I think that's key. You got to mention Jason Harvey if you want to have a decent...
By the way, check out the jacket I'm wearing. I'm not wearing it.
Yeah, let's take a look.
Take a look. You see it?
That's a cool jacket, man. Look at that.
Yeah, I got this 5 years ago. I bought all these jackets.
I like that color scheme on that jacket.
Yeah, So, representing Sting, instead of a T-shirt, I'm wearing his jacket tonight. Remember, I always got to wear someone.
Man, somebody said that Dave Meltzer. I don't really listen to Dave Meltzer. Somebody said, I don't know when he said this either, because supposedly it was a while ago or something. But Dave Meltzer had said Sting or something doesn't deserve to be in a Hall of Fame or something like that, because he's not like a Hall of Fame caliber wrestler or something. I forget what his criteria were. He said something about maybe Sting's not a good wrestler or he didn't draw or anything. But let me tell you something. In this pay-per-view that's pretty bad, where nothing happens, he is one of the highlights. And people absolutely. They built this whole pay-per-view basically around Sting, really.
Yeah,
Sting,
they
like
do, but
you
you
know,
don't see
key
him. You don't
moment.
see him for hours and hours and hours.
Yeah, but the climax is like this guy with Lex Luger. So I don't know what he's talking about with Sting not being a Hall of Famer. I mean,
You
this
know
guy's
what?
an idiot.
You know what gets me again, and I hate to, you watch these fucking documentaries or these fucking shoot interviews, and it's always like Starrcade was great until Vince McMahon did the Survivor Series, and then it ruined us. Okay, listen to me, bro. Listen to me, dude. This is 4 years later, and this is what you put forward. Vince McMahon didn't tell you to book the Battle Bowl. Vince
Oh
McMahon
God.
didn't tell
Yeah.
you Jushin Thunder Liger should fight Mike Graham. All right, he didn't fly in Jushin Thunder Liger to fly. You did this to yourself. Like you could have made Starrcade like WrestleMania. He wasn't in your way. No one's in your way. You're in your own fucking way.
Yeah.
But they want to always.
Starcades are not good. They're
They're
just
not
not
good.
good. From the very beginning of what we're watching, where every single match somebody's blading, up to now, where you're just basically you have an 11 match card and 10 of them are fucking tag team matches. You're the idiot. The
Yeah.
Starcades are not good. They're not good.
Starrcade 87. I like that. That's the one that he fought that went against Survivor Series. That was good. I like that one.
Yeah, but like majority of the Starcades we watch, they're fucking not good. And this
No,
is
they're
one of
not.
them. They're not good. This is one of
The,
them.
the last three Starrcades have had tournaments that ultimately meant nothing.
Yeah, Starcade sucks, dude. And I don't think. And here's the thing, and we're gonna get into it. And it's not. I don't think it's what people think it is. You know, but Starcade '91 Battle Bowl, the Lethal Lottery takes place December 29, 1991 in Norfolk, Virginia. 9,000 people are in attendance, so it's not a bad turnout.
Yeah.
Um, they the intro kind of takes us through the concept of what the lethal lottery is. Basically, there's 40 men, and they're randomly going to be picked into tag teams, and then the winning teams go into the battle bowl, which is like a battle royal. And then there's going to be one winner afterwards. They never say what you're going to win. They just say you're going to win battle bowl.
Yeah. Do you think if AEW, I think if AEW or NXT brought this back, do you think but the winner gets a title shot, like a world title shot? Do you think this could work nowadays?
No, because the concept is a really dumb idea. This is a really dumb
Well,
idea.
I like enemies working together to get to the title
I
shot.
don't mind the random tag teams and the winning teams get something,
Yeah.
or the winning tag teams get put into like a battle royal. But this is not a normal battle royal. It's a 2-ring concept thing.
No. I'm
This is
saying
really dumb. Really
you
dumb.
do it. I'm saying if you do Battle Bowl, it's like you have one Battle Bowl tag match a week, and then you lead to like an eight man like match. So like the 8 guys who make it to the finals have like an 8-man match, and the winner of that match gets the title shot against the champion. But you have like a match a week where enemies have to team together against other enemies.
Okay, yeah, that could work, but that's not this stupid.
I know. That it would be a modified
If
version.
you're asking me, will this idea work anywhere? I'll be like, no. This Starrcade 1991 Battle Bowl idea, it will not work anywhere. It's such a dumb concept, you know? And it's I don't care if you spread this out for months. The concept of there's 2 rings and you first gotta throw the person to the
that's
other
hard.
ring,
That's hard.
and then that's such a dumb idea. It's so dumb. Jim Ross and Tony Schiavone do welcome us, and it's a packed house. Like I said, everyone's there excited, and they have Eric Bischoff, Missy Hyatt, and Magnum TA, who's the commissioner.
And it's his hometown. It doesn't get a pop. You notice that?
Yeah. Magnum. By this point, Magnum TA's, you know, it's been years, man.
Yeah.
Like it's been years. He was never the guy, because he got cut short, but.
It would be like if CM Punk got into an accident in 2005 and wrestled again.
Yeah, it would be like somebody who's like climbing their way and they just get cut short, and it's been 5 years now or whatever. It's like, all right, time has
But
passed.
Eric Bischoff says hometown boy Magnum TA, and he pauses for like this big pop, and it doesn't come.
Yeah. Basically, they've got like a bingo, like bowling, the bingo ball kind of like thing. That's where the lottery's going to be. Their names are, and they're like Bischoff's introducing us to that, and then he goes, he presents us the 40 WCW stars, and the camera just kind of lingers on them for a while, and they're just like smiling awkwardly, and
They're all
then
standing there.
finally they go to the stage, and the curtain goes up, and all 40 men are just kind of standing there, like opposing. And we're gonna go right to our first match. It's Michael P.S. Hayes and Tracy Smothers versus Buff Bagwell's Marcus Alexander Bagwell making his pay-per-view debut versus Jimmy Jam Garvin. So I already hate this concept because it's supposed to be random, and the fact that they have like two members of the tag team like going up against I hate that.
Yeah, I don't like
It's
that.
so stupid. And here's the thing too. It's supposed to be like a wow moment, like in the like kind of like how Royal Rumble when they had the two demolition guys go each other.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like when Jimmy Jam's like going to the ring, he doesn't even give a fuck that he's facing his tag team partner.
No, they just wrestle.
Yeah, he
They
just
just wrestle like they don't even know each other.
He dances to the ring. He doesn't give a fuck. It's so stupid.
Yeah.
Tracy Smothers is in this match for most of it, and it was actually not good because while I was watching this, I realized why Tracy Smothers never really made it. His selling is pretty fucking hokey.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like he's
No
not a
one's the
bad
same.
wrestler, but yeah, he just makes these like goofy, like he's like, oh, back when you body slam me, like it looks so bad, and I'm like, ugh. And then,
This is why you
okay,
gotta go to the Patreon and subscribe to the video version to see Andrew Lee's Tracy Smothers face.
my back, you body slam me. After a while, both Freebirds get in the ring and they do that showmanship wrestling where they shake hands and they're just like, I'm trying to one up you and everything. There's no sense of urgency. Neither man, they don't give a fuck about winning because they know, I think they realize if I win, I just got to go into a stupid battle royal anyway. So, like, nobody cares. There is the ending is pretty cool. Basically, what happens is Bagwell, he kind of comes in, he cheap shots Michael Hayes, and Michael Hayes gets mad and he fucking cheap shots Bagwell. And Jimmy Jam kind of like taps Hayes from behind him, and Hayes kind of turns around and nails him in the face on instincts, right? And the way Hayes sells it is very good. Like, oh shit, I that was an instinct kind of thing. I didn't mean to punch my friend in the face. The crowd gasps, and there's like some tension between the Freebirds, and they start shoving each other. While that's happening, Bagwell hits his fisherman suplex with a bridge, think perfect plex on Tracy Smothers for the win. Right after that match, the Freebirds they make up. Jimmy Jam and Bagwell are the first to advance. What do you think about this match?
Horrible, awful. Here's the problem with a lot of these matches. Here's the problem. All right. You can do a thing where like partners are on opposite sides. But like I feel like there was only one babyface on this in this match, and it's Marcus Bagwell. He's barely in the ring. Tracy Smothers is in the ring. Tracy Smothers is a heel. Jimmy Jam Garvin is a heel. Michael Hayes is a heel. Who am I supposed to root for? So you have a bunch of people that the fans don't like fucking just wrestling this boring fucking match for like, what was it, 9 hours, this match?
Oh, God. This was a 12-minute match. This is way too long.
12 minutes.
It was way too long.
And there's no one to root for. So, like, I hated this match. Already, when this match started, when I was like, I have a really bad feeling about this show.
Yeah, me too. This is the opening match, and I was like, man, I already think this is stupid, and this is just not the tone you want to set. Like, I felt like, it felt like a doom moment where I'm like, man, I had to sit through 3 hours of this bullshit. Probably.
Yeah, and they don't. They it's not like it's not like there's only like 4 matches like this. This is the whole show.
Oh my god, yeah, it's awful, guys. We just covered match 1 out of like fucking 11. So after that, Bischoff, Wyatt, and Magnum, they pick the next names. And basically what they're doing while they're picking the names, the first one is the only one where everyone's on stage. After this, all the heels are in the heel locker room, all the faces are in the good guy locker room. And they show you a camera of both locker rooms. So because they want to get the reactions of people's names getting picked. And Steve Austin's name gets picked, and the heels. What ends up happening is the heels all start talking when Austin gets picked, that they mishearing Rick Rude get picked second. Yeah, so Rick Rude gets picked second, but he doesn't realize So all the names get picked, and like the good guys get picked another aside, and you see afterwards everyone's just standing around, even Rude. They're just standing there looking at the monitor, not realizing that Rick Rude was picked like a while ago.
Yeah.
And then finally you can see Rick Rude's like somebody gives him the signal, so he just like quickly leaves the fucking locker room. Stuff like that's gonna happen a lot. It's like they didn't know what was going on. This is match number 2. Austin and Rick Rude, who are already in a heel stable together, versus Van Hammer and Big Josh, the guy with the bears. No bears this time. No hose either. They took away his bears. They took away his hose. They even took away his axe. They took away everything that made this guy cool.
No, maybe he was like already like I could go to Vince. He'll make me a clown.
All right, so most of this match is just getting heat on Josh, and then Austin does this thing where he's like runs the ropes and he fucking accidentally like sits on Paulie dangerously. And then this allows Van Hammer to make the hot tag. But there is a blind tag by Rick Rude who hits the Rude Awakening on Van Hammer for the win. What do you think about match number 2?
This stunk as well. And you know what? I also, I don't know if you realize this, and I feel like this takes away a lot of the show. Nobody had entrance music. Like these guys don't even like have entrances. They like run to the ring. Like, and here's the other thing. They really promoted this show without telling you any of the matches. They really did that.
Well, it's supposed to be random.
But why couldn't you like announce the matches ahead of time? Like we're gonna do the random drawing on this Saturday night before the show. Like because remember WCW Saturday night was their show. Like why couldn't you do that? Because I can't believe they expected people to pay. I would love to know the numbers if the buy rate for this was bullshit. They expected people to pay for a show where you don't know any of the matches.
Oh yeah, well, I agree with you. That would have been the smart thing to do, but WCW, just the fact that they did this was the concept of the pay-per-view shows that they're fucking stupid.
But like when these guys run to the ring and they don't do an entrance, they don't do their little like poses, they're just running to the ring like they're being called to assembly. It just completely kills any heat. Like nobody like there's no music, they're just running to the ring. And they look confused, and it just takes away from the whole presentation. This is supposed to be their WrestleMania. It's fucking horrendous. Man, this match sucked.
You know, I don't think Starrcade's supposed to be their WrestleMania.
Well, I mean, it should have been. It could have been.
They did 155,000 buys.
What did Survivor Series 91 do? I'm curious now. Sorry, don't mean for the
no, that's fine.
I'm talking to the fans that are listening.
Yeah, this is why the internet exists. SummerSlam 1991 had 405,000 buys.
Yeah. What about Survivor Series 91? That's the closest.
Survivor Series 91?
Yeah.
Isn't that what I just said? Survivor Series.
No, you said SummerSlam.
Oh, Survivor Series 91 had 300,000.
Okay, what about Tuesday in Texas, which was a big disaster?
140. Remember that was the one, that was the bad one.
But what did okay? So 140. What was Starrcade's?
Starrcade 1991 was 155.
Okay, so WWE almost got the Starrcade's number with 4 days of hype. Starrcade 91 had 2 months of hype and an established pay-per-view name.
Yeah, and that wasn't even a bad number for them because Halloween Havoc 91 had even less.
That's crazy to me. So I guess it doesn't matter.
It had 120,000.
Well, I think the reason why I think Starrcade 91 got that, I think the WCW fans still had faith that Starrcade could become a WrestleMania. It had more value. The name had more value than Halloween Havoc. Nowadays, because NXT does, and people like Halloween Havoc has more value now to like random fans. But back then, I think Starrcade had more value to it.
And I'm looking at their numbers, and believe it or not, the one that was consistently pretty good for WCW at this time is Great American Bash.
Well, they also had tours all around the country, yeah. So
yeah,
Great American Bash
I think it should have been like, even though they did Great American Bash from 1990 to 1991 is a huge drop. They lose like 50,000, dude.
I know because Ric Flair's not there. That's the other
yeah, that's true.
Did you
All
hear
right.
people yell
So
Ric Flair, by the way? At sometimes you could hear people.
no, I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that.
There's a few points where you hear people yelling. The next when Eric Bischoff's picking people in yelling Ric Flair at them. So, but
I
yeah,
don't put it past that happening.
this match sucked. I don't consider it Steve Austin, Rick Rude's fault. I just think they had nothing to work with Van Hammer, and also like I think it was stupid. You're trying to get Van Hammer over as a top guy, and he's losing. He's taking the pinfall instead of Big Josh. I think Big
Yeah,
Josh.
that's true. If you're gonna push this guy Van Hammer, why is he the one taking a pinfall? You
He
know?
made him look an idiot already.
Yeah. They cut back to after this match. They cut back to the commentators, and then there's a sign who's got like a giant sign that says that's for Medusa, and it's got his hotel room number on it. I thought that was kind of funny.
Hopefully, he got some.
The next three that are picked are Dustin Rhodes, Richard Morton of the York Foundation versus Cruncher, who is Larry Zbyszko. He's going by the name Cruncher, and but it's so funny is because when they pick the Cruncher, Mike Graham like Mike Graham runs out of the fucking heel locker room like his name got called, right?
No, but he's supposed to be a good guy.
No, Mike Graham's in the heel locker room.
Oh, they were making out like he was a good guy.
No. Mike Graham was in the heel locker room with the Cruncher, and then like Mike Graham just like runs out of the locker room like his name got called, and then like Larry Zbyszko's just standing there, and finally someone like tells Larry, "Dude, you got called," and you see Larry Zbyszko like you can't hear what's going on in the locker room, you can only see it, but you see like Larry Zbyszko look fucking annoyed, and you see him like pointing in the direction of like, why the fuck did Mike Graham like run out like that? Yeah, he I thought he got picked. Mike Graham has nothing to do with this match. He just thought his name got
started
called.
running.
So
I think he's also a producer at that time. So
oh well, can't even produce himself. Anyways, this match is Dustin Rhodes and Richard Morton, heel face, or actually face heel, versus the Cruncher, who's a heel, who comes out with Medusa, and El Gigante, who is the face. Richard Morton comes in, and El Gigante. Well, one kind of funny part is Richard Morton tags in, and then El Gigante tags in, and Morton's like, no, and he just quickly leaves the ring. This whole point of this match is Larry Zbyszko. He spends most of this match yelling directions at the Giant, just constantly yelling at him, do this, do that, do that. And then finally, when the Giant tags in, Cruncher yells at him some more. So the Giant like just yells at him, shut up, shut up. And then Cruncher like slaps Giant in the face. So the Giant grabs Zbyszko and he just throws him into the fucking ring, and he gets thrown into a double drop kick by Richard Morton and Dustin Rhodes for Dustin and Richard Morton to advance. What did you think about this match number 3?
first of all, I don't know why they thought they were like doing some Vince McMahon shit with they were doing some Vince McMahon shit with Larry Zbyszko trying to get over that name. He never get like the Cruncher, the Cruncher, the Cruncher. You know, just like that. Like
no, definitely, yeah. He kept calling he's the Cruncher, dude.
That as you can tell, that didn't pick up because nobody cared. Also, 6 months, Richard Morton is still dressing like he's in the Rock and Roll Express.
Even though still got the mullet, the blonde mullet. I actually wish the Cruncher name had worked because it's like way better than just Larry Zbyszko, you know?
I just feel like Larry Zbyszko is always going to be Larry Zbyszko.
Yeah, like, but here's the thing too: if you're gonna call yourself the Cruncher, like, get new tights that say Cruncher in the back of it. Like, change something up, but because it's lazy as fuck. You're still Larry Zbyszko. You're still doing everything that's like you haven't changed a single thing except for just calling yourself the Cruncher. It's like calling yourself Richard Morton and not doing anything, you know, not changing a single thing. It's pretty lazy. Next up, the 3-pick Bill Kazmaier and Jushin Liger versus DDP, who's actually wrestling now at this point. And now they pick fucking Mike Graham.
Mm-hmm.
And in the locker room, you kind of what's really cool though, actually, this part I did like, when they're showing the locker room, Larry Zbyszko's going back into the heel locker room, and he kind of gets into Richard Morton because Richard Morton did fucking like he lost because of Richard Morton, but they're both heels and they're in the locker room, so they kind of get into a shoving match. Like, dude, what the fuck? Well, like why did you drop kick me? And he's just like, dude, I'm trying to win. Like that was kind of cool, keeping kayfabe alive,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, we're gonna go to match number 4: Diamond Dallas Page and Mike Graham versus Jushin Liger and Bill Kazmaier. They mentioned that they mentioned that Liger is the light heavyweight champion, and first Mike Graham and Liger, who are the smaller guys, both smaller guys, and then each team they square off. And Mike Graham is kind of old school, so the first time they square off, he kind of like doesn't go for what Liger's doing. So Liger does this thing where he does this cartwheel like bicycle kick, and he just lands on his ass.
Yeah, because Mike Graham's not going to sell it.
Yeah, and Mike just like looks at him like, I don't know what you're doing, dude. And he made Liger look like a fool. And like I can tell there's some communications issue, and then Liger looks pissed off because he looked like a fucking idiot. But to Graham's credit, after that, every other time they fucking meet up, Mike Graham makes Liger look great. He's keeping up with Liger, letting Liger do all his fucking dives on him and shit. And Mike Graham looks like it's easier to work with after that first time. But it was just like that first moment, he just made him look like a fucking idiot. Like Liger looked like an idiot the first time. I fucking laughed.
Dude, it was and they're trying to hype that like Mike Graham and Jushin Liger's like some type of dream match. Like, oh wow, look what we get to see. And it's like Mike Graham looks like such a piece of shit. He looks like he runs a gas station. And Liger looks like a superhero.
Just plain tights, body in okay shape, just like chest hair, not real tan. Yeah. But like you have to admit, later on as they're wrestling, they start gelling very well, and even Mike Graham gets some of his shit into that. He hits like a nice.
I just wouldn't have flown over Jushin Thunder Liger to waste him on these two idiots.
Yeah, Mike Graham, he's a good wrestler, but he's 100% an undersized like vanilla throwback.
And he's also 100% old school. Like,
yeah, he's a throwback. But he's also vanilla in the sense that he's so just like his name is plain, his trunks are plain, everything about him is plain. There's nothing that stands out. And yeah, ultimately, Bill Kazmaier.
And also, he's the type of guy that he's gonna. It's kind of like that. But when I forget who it was, maybe it was Buddy Landell. Was like he's gonna wrestle the match his way. You are not gonna get any cooperation from him until you do things his way.
I mean, in this match, he was doing Liger shit. He was
eventually.
Yeah. He was basing for Liger, letting Liger. There was a lot of points where Mike Graham's just standing around waiting for Liger to fucking just jump on him and shit. And he's making Liger look good at the end. But ultimately, it doesn't matter. Bill Kazmaier picks up Liger and he throws him at DDP for the splash cover win. This was okay. At first, it started clunky, but at the end, at least Liger started looking better.
I mean, it's just when you look at the talent that they had, and I think they kind of did this. I don't think they did this to make Liger look bad. I think they kind of did this to be look how weird the matches could be based on the luck of the draw. But honestly, I would have had like Liger with Vader. I would have done this. I would have Rick Steiner and Liger versus Vader and Ricky Steamboat.
I would have done Liger with Richard Morton because I think Richard Morton could have done Liger style.
And who would they fought?
No, I mean like have Richard Morton.
opposite sides.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I would have done because I think Vader and Liger could have done some fun shit.
Probably, yeah.
And Rick Steiner, because my favorite part of the show is Rick Steiner and Vader going at each other later on. That's my favorite part of the show.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know what was interesting was like when I saw this, remember like when you first watched this, Mike Graham makes Liger look like a fucking fool. Mm-hmm. I wonder if like right after that moment and like he's on the apron, the referee goes like, Mike, don't fucking forget you're supposed to put this fucking guy over. And then he goes like, oh shit. And then maybe that's when he started doing it.
I think Mike Graham did that to let Liger know I can make you look like a moron if I want to. And now
you think he did he did
Yeah, because I think he was like
I wanna like, hey bro, I just want you to know your career's in my hands kind of situation.
Basically to be like, to do your flippy shit, I have to work with you. And if I don't work with you, you'll just look like a moron.
Well, that's true though.
Yeah.
100% true. 100% true.
And
Yeah.
I think Mike Graham wasn't a fan of the flippy shit. And
No, I don't think he is. I don't think he is.
And I think he wanted to let him know, like, I'll work with you, but just so you know, if you do anything that annoys me, you're like a moron with that stupid suit on. I think that's
Yeah.
what it was. Because Mike Graham knows this guy's gonna be a bigger star than me, and he is, and he was, and he is, and he always will be.
Yes.
But I think he was like, you're gonna be. I know you're gonna be a big star. I know people, but I don't give a fuck. I could just ruin it right now.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
old.
He could have, to his credit, he totally could have. He totally could have. He could have just been like, his attitude could have been like, I'm not basing for you one bit the whole rest of this match.
Yeah.
But he just did it that one time.
I think he just did it to make a point. Which is what those old school guys do.
Yeah, yeah. And kind of prove a point, you know. I like that.
But you know what?
Like, I'm gonna do you a favor, but I'm gonna make sure I fucking get one little fucking thing in before I fucking put you over.
But you know what? I'm not here to have I'm not watching the show so Mike Graham can show Jushin Liger like who's boss. I'm here to be entertained. And Mike Graham, you failed miserably at that. So fuck you.
So I think WCW back then had a lot of those guys.
Oh yeah,
like a Doug Summers. Remember Doug Summers? His
That's
job?
what I meant. That's what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah, but like guys like that, there's too many guys like where they're like, hey, we want you to come in and make this guy look good, and instead they want to look. I'm gonna teach him a little bit about wrestling. I want to teach him about respect first. No, you don't. You just got to do the job, bro. That's all you got to do.
You know what it also gets you about these arrogant guys like Doug Summers and Mike Graham is that they look like shit. It'd be one thing if they looked, even if they looked like Roddy Piper, but who's not like a fucking muscular dude, but they look like fucking human dog shit. They look like somebody who crawled out of bed in their underwear and showed up to the arena. And they always do things to make like Jushin Thunder Liger looks like an action figure. Yeah. And they do things to make that guy who could sell T-shirts, who could sell action figures, who has sold both, probably. They do things to make those guys look like fucking garbage. Who did Doug Summers do that to last show?
You're not gonna what?
Who did Doug Summers do that to? Was it Van Hammer?
Van Hammer. It was Van Hammer.
They always do it to the guy who looks like a star.
Yeah, because he wants to prove a point. I want to prove to you that I'm a veteran and I could go. And you know what? You're never gonna see this in WWF.
Well, that's why I don't like. That's why, dude. That's why I don't like Eddie Kingston, because I feel like with Doug Summers, Eddie Kingston, and Mike Graham, the fact that they look like shit is arrogant. Same with Tommy Dreamer. The fact that they look like dog shit is arrogant. They're arrogant. That's why they don't fucking do push-ups.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I think that's a fair point. Yeah, but there's too many of those old school, good old boys in WCW, the old WCW, and I think that's really a large part of their problem. You know, and here's the thing: people in the back allow it too,
because the good old boys are in there. Because the good old boys.
I bet you when Mike Graham came back, they were like, "Good job, Mike. Yeah, I saw you."
Mike Graham's the reason why the Radicals left.
Yes, because he's an idiot.
Because he said, "I would shoot you. I would shoot all four of you."
Yeah, he was able to. They were able to get out with a non-compete cause because of Mike Graham, that idiot. Mike Graham's an idiot.
If you notice the work rate because you just add four guys like that, and the work rate, and we'll see it when we get to the work rate goes up across the board, the entire company of WWF. And the work rate.
What's so funny is like Mike Graham accuses, like he calls them vanilla midgets, and I'm like, then what the fuck are you, dude? No offense, but what are you? You're not big. You're fucking plain as shit. Like, what the fuck were you, dude? You were just as fucking vanilla as everybody else.
You ever heard the quote? He goes, Jeff Jarrett, broke a million guitars, never drew a dime.
God, such an idiot.
But he's true. He's right about that. But also, like, you are the only person who makes Jeff Jarrett look like a star. Like, you shouldn't be saying anything. You are actually worse than Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah.
The guy, you know what he is? He's like these failed comics become bookers. He was a failure who got a little bit of power in WCW and wielded it every time he saw someone like, you know, he was probably jealous of Benoit. He was jealous.
I think Mike Graham, a lot of the work he got was out of respect for his father.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of people respected his dad, and I think that's why they put up with him, Mike Graham. You know,
the fact that he didn't get fired after he lost the Radicals.
He should have got fired after this match. You know, in my
He never
opinion,
should
I
have
would
been
have been
hired.
like, yeah, I would have been. I wouldn't be surprised if after his match they were like, "Good job, Mike. I saw what you did. You got to make sure he's gonna win,
You
but
gotta
you
make
got
sure
to
he
make
knows
sure
who's boss.
yeah,
All
yeah.
us
You
out of
gotta make
shape fucking
sure he
idiots.
has respect for the old timers. Like it's stupid shit. Like I can tell they were like, "Good
This
job,
is how
man."
we did it down in Florida in front of 40 people in an armory. So I gotta
Yeah,
show them
yeah. You show them how we do it in America. You
that
fucking
Tokyo
show that.
dope
Yeah,
bullshit don't
yeah.
fly here.
Yeah, we don't do that
Normal.
flippy shit unless we want you. Unless we allow it to. You fucking idiot.
You know, I know they say don't speak ill of the dead. I can't speak. I want to speak more ill of this fucking guy. He
Yeah,
sucks.
we just went on this like 30-minute rant about how much we think Mike Graham sucks.
He does suck. I don't feel bad for him. Fuck him.
Um, so after this match, we get a commercial, a promo for Super Brawl 1992, and this is the way they present it. They go, football has a Super Bowl, baseball has the World Series, wrestling has the Super Brawl too, and this is where like they're comparing it to the Super Bowl and World Series. This is where I'm thinking like Starrcade is not their
But nobody
WCW.
saw. I know they said in that commercial they did nothing to book Super Brawl ever, or like no one considered Super Bowl their Super Bowl.
The way they're presenting it, it sure is here.
But they didn't do any. But you can call Backlash. You can call. I'm sorry. You can call Payback our WWE's new Super Bowl. But if you book Payback the way they booked Payback this year, no one's buying it. You know what I mean? You can say, hey, WrestleMania no longer matters. Payback's our show. But if you book it like dog shit, people are gonna be like, okay, we're not booking it like that. So,
Then how come Starrcade's presented that way? It's booked like dog shit.
well, I think people consider Starrcade because it was the first one.
Oh, I guess you're right. That's the point.
And Dave Meltzer has beaten everyone's head that Vince got the idea from WrestleMania from seeing Starrcades.
I can see that. Okay, I can see that.
So that's why Meltzer wants Starrcade to be a bigger deal. Listen, to be honest with you, if I took over WCW, if let's say they go out of business, right? But somehow I got control of WCW, I would say to them, we need to build every year and make Starrcade our mania. We need to book big arenas for Starrcade. We need to let people know because it worked. They did it once. They treated one Starrcade like a WrestleMania, Hogan Sting, and they got the biggest buy rate they ever got. So it can work treating it like a WrestleMania. They just that they never did it.
If WWE no longer existed and I could bring back WCW, I would actually do a Great American Bash. I think Starrcade, it sounds.
I think the time has come and gone, but I think if you had taken it over in 2001, you could have done that. You could have made Starrcade a WrestleMania.
It just sounds 80s. Starrcade sounds old.
I know
it sounds stupid. It's Starrcade. It just sounds.
I liked it when I was a kid. I liked it. I liked the name.
Yeah, but that was like also like 80s, bro.
But then again, but if WWF went out of business, we might say WrestleMania sounds like 80s.
Ah, that's a good point. That's a fair point. Fair point. Yeah. All right. So next up, the 3-pick Lex Luger, Arn Anderson versus Terrence Taylor and the Z-Man. After the picks, you hear Missy Hyatt go like, "Hey, can I run now?" she just she's still mic'd up, and you hear her go like, "So can I just run now?" Like she just wants to get the fuck out of there. It's so funny. Match number 5: Lex Luger and Arn Anderson. Lex Luger is their world champion at this point versus Terrence Taylor and the Z-Man. Now, what's really interesting is that Terrence Taylor and Z-Man previously they were feuding. These guys were like arch enemies, and now they're in a tag team. And let me tell you something. Both these guys look really good going up against Lex Luger. You know? And as I'm watching this, I'm watching this match. I'm going like, you know what they should do? You could put Terrence Taylor and Z-Man in like an odd couple tag team and it would work. You know how like when they first did Sheamus and Cesaro, they were like feuding and then they were like forced to be in a tag team and they just found like they hate each other, but they realized they have such great chemistry together. I got the same feeling watching this. And I was like, these two guys could fucking work together in a tag team. And ultimately what happens is Taylor is going for his finishing move, which is called the 5-arm. But while the referee is distracted, he gets hit from behind by Arn Anderson, and Lex Luger hits the pile driver for the minute win. This was probably the best match on this show.
Really? I didn't like it.
Really? What didn't you like about this?
again, it's just you have three heels wrestling each other, and Lex Luger doesn't look like the world champion. He just looks like another guy, and I just found it very boring. And the fact
Oh,
that Luger, the
I'm
world
not getting
champions,
into Terry Taylor and Z-Man when they start like fucking hitting Lex Luger because they're just like, holy shit,
but
they're watching two guys who are mid card at best, like taking it to the champ. It looks
I
good.
know, but I like they have not done enough. And again, maybe on the weekly shows, but we saw Z-Man get annihilated by the Halloween Phantom, and now he's taking it to Lex. It just didn't seem. It seemed it. I don't know. I just couldn't get into it. It just seemed like a waste of the world champion. Honestly, he shouldn't have been in the tournament. He should have had a title defense.
Yes, of course, of
It was
course.
just a waste of your world champ. Your world champion should not be struggling against Z-Man. Vader squashed this guy. Rick Rude squashed this guy, but you're having a hard time with him.
Well, that's where I was seeing like it. They were the commentators were even putting it over. They were going like, "Wow, Z-Man and Terrence Taylor have like an oddly they're tagging very well. Like they have
I
good
mean,
chemistry."
I
And
might
that's why
think
it was so weird. This was like the one time where the random pairing storyline was actually like you would never see these two guys paired
but
together.
they should have ran with it. They should have then
They should have, yeah,
they should have made them like
become
a
a tag
permanent
team.
tag team, like
Yeah,
the Bar. Remember the Bar
yeah,
didn't like each other, and then they became like one of the best tag teams in WWE.
exactly. That's what this should have been. They realized like, man, I don't fucking like you. Last year, you and I were fucking feuding, but like right now, my career is kind of floundering. So are yours. So is yours. We got some good chemistry. Why don't we just
Yeah.
keep doing this and see what happens? And then like they could become like one of the best tag teams. They should have ran with this. It was real. I thought
You
that
know
was
what? You know what I feel like with Tom Zink? I feel like they book him according to whether or not he annoys them that day or not. Because sometimes they
I
book
think
him like
so.
a
Yeah, I think you're
like
probably
they
right.
book him like a fucking idiot one day, and the next day they'll book him like a potential world champion. I've never seen that with anyone else. Like it's just so inconsistent in how they treat this guy. And it's
I'll
like,
bet you if this had happened in WWF, Vince would have been like, I think there's something here, guy. I think he would
yeah,
have been like, I think there's something here. Let's just keep going with this for a couple of weeks, see what happens. Like, I would have kept going with the
mentally,
tag team.
for me, mentally, I've checked out of the Z-Man.
Mhm.
I know he's not going to go anywhere in life. So like I couldn't get into this match. But yes, at the time, they should have done something with these two guys. But also, bear in mind, in a few months, Terry Taylor goes to WWF again.
Oh,
So, I mean, maybe they did have that idea, but Terry was like, hey, I already gave you my notice. I'm leaving. So,
well, maybe that's what happened. Oh, okay.
yeah.
Well, that's too bad because there was some
Goes
potential
there
there.
again for like exactly a year. So,
Yeah. All right, so at this point, they're kind of they're halfway in, and the men who are in they qualified into the Battle Bowl so far are Buff Bagwell, well Marcus Alexander Bagwell, sorry, Jimmy Jam Garvin, Steve Austin, Rick Rude, Dustin Rhodes, Richard Morton, Bill Kazmaier, Jushin Liger, Lex Luger, and Arn Anderson.
yes.
The next three are picked. I'm sorry, the three pick Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, who's now back with WCW, and Todd Champion versus Cactus Jack and Sergeant Buddy Lee Parker.
His
Now,
pay-per-view debut.
this is the no, not Sergeant Buddy Lee Parker's debut.
Oh, when was he also on a
He
pay-per-view?
was in that stupid match with his tag team partner Firebreaker Chip. The first time we ever saw them was on a pay per view.
Oh, okay.
But this
So
guy's an idiot.
Firebreaker Chip teams is a partner with Todd Champion, not Sergeant.
Oh wait, Sergeant Buddy Lee Parker though he's a
He
yeah,
becomes a
you're right.
power plant trainer.
Yeah, but we've seen Parker before. He was
Maybe when they had remember when we first saw Scott Hall in that fucking they had a 2-ring battle royal. Remember Ron Simmons?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe he was in that. I don't know.
You know what? I thought this guy was shitty, and I'll tell you why. Remember, they have the locker room. They show you the videos so they get the reaction.
By the way, I hated this match.
Yeah. There's we'll get into
hated everything
even,
about
it's stupid even before that because they're showing the locker room, and this guy Sergeant Buddy Lee Parker, he's sitting down, and he gets up before his name is called, like he's getting ready to run out, and it's just like you idiot, like. Don't fucking give it away that it's supposed to be random. Like you don't know that you're supposed to be kicked. Not like that you're getting up. Like you already know that you're getting picked. And fucking Abdullah Butcher starts beating him up in the locker room for breaking kayfabe, right? Kayfabe, right? Just beating
Yeah.
the shit out of him with the broomstick and everything. And we're gonna go into match number 6. It is Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Todd Champion versus Cactus Jack. And they call out his partner, is supposed to be Buddy Lee Parker, and instead the Butcher comes out. Abdullah Butcher comes out. Refs are like, no, 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 go back, go back. You're not. I know you're normally Cactus's partner, but not here. So then as he's going back, fucking Sergeant Parker comes out and he starts beating him some more. He beats the shit out of Parker. And the whole match is basically Parker just trying to crawl his way across the ramp and finally get to the corner. And when he gets to he's on the wrong side of the corner too, by the way, because when you're in a tag match, it's always supposed to be like the complete opposite corners, but they're all like he's on the same side as the good guys, I guess. And then basically what happens is Cactus Jack grabs him and just throws him into the ring, and Parker's like firing up, and he's like getting up, and then fucking the dragon hits him with a flying crossbody for the win. He gets his ass kicked by Abdullah, and he's crawling his way across the ramp. He finally like drags himself up to the fucking apron. He gets thrown into the ring. He gets hit by a crossbody to fucking eat the pinfall. It's so stupid, dude. What did you think about this match?
I hated everything about this match. I hate Abdullah the Butcher.
Oh,
Abdullah the Butcher is the most untalented, most I am a fucking appalled that he is in the WWE Hall of Fame. You know how people like
he's
to
in
say
the WWE Hall of Fame?
yeah, he got an induction. He got like an induction. He got to go on stage and give a speech like he's Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan. He got an induction. Okay. He
That's
didn't
why
get
it's
like
not a real Hall of Fame, by the way.
he didn't get the honorable mention Hall of Fame. He got the because you know now they do that, which Luda Vachon got, which is fucking bullshit. He got the "You're so fucking great, we love you" treatment. He's the most untalented piece of shit, dude. You can see he's not hitting Buddy. Remember, he's on stage hitting Buddy Lee Parker with the broom. You can see he's missing him by a mile. He's just fat. He's goofy. He looks like crap. If you're an old school wrestling fan, you go, "Oh, old school wrestling is better. Old school wrestling is so much better." And I go to you like, "Oh, who's some of your favorites?" "Well, you like the WWE shit? I like Abdullah the Butcher." You are a fucking moron. You are as dumb as a dance long. And let me tell you something. Abdullah the Butcher shouldn't even be in the WWE. He shouldn't even be hired to be a janitor in WWE, let alone their fucking Hall of Fame. He sucks. And the other thing that made this match horrible is Buddy Lee Parker is supposed to be the heel. He's getting beat up by everyone, and he makes it to the ring. He actually like puts effort. And Ricky Steamboat is supposed to be this virtuous babyface who like 9 years ago was stealing the show with Tully Blanchard, just pins him, just beat like why am I supposed to?
I'm looking at this Hall of Fame. I'm so glad I don't pay attention to WWE Hall of Fame because it's a bullshit Hall of Fame. Abdullah, but you're right. I didn't realize Luna Vachon got in as a legacy, which is fucking bullshit.
Yeah,
you know,
Luda Vachon didn't get to go on stage, but this guy got to go on stage.
That's fucking bullshit.
I'm sorry, you're not a legend because you don't leave. Like that's the only reason why people consider Abdullah the Butcher like a legend because he just never went away. He's
awful. He's terrible.
He's terrible. He's one of the most untalented. He's one of the worst. He just didn't leave. The same thing with Tommy Dreamer. Tommy Dreamer has never left, which is what that's not a legend to me. You just don't leave. I
don't I've never liked Abdullah Butcher. I don't know why people like him so much.
Dude, like I think the magazines liked him. So if you didn't actually watch him, but you just saw the magazine covers or pictures, he sold magazines, I think, with the bleeding and the dumb faces. Because the way the Aftermax could put the pictures out, it looked like a war. You don't know he's just standing there like you know what I'm saying? They can pretend it's a war. They can pretend like crazy shit happened. If you're like you couldn't like go online, so you just oh wow. So I think that's why he had a long career. And the fact that he like kind of like helped cover up Bruiser Brody's death. Like, how is he still even allowed to like be around? Why is Bruiser Brody not in the Hall of Fame? Why?
Bruiser Brody is actually in that bullshit Legacy Hall of Fame.
Why did
Went in.
Bruiser Brody's family get to go on stage?
Yeah, he got in the same year Luna did.
Let me tell you something. If they
Walter
don't,
McDaniels got a Legacy fucking Hall of Fame.
let me tell you something. If they don't fucking allow Lex Luger on stage before he dies, so he can have his moment, the fact that they are so fucking pigheaded to not put Lex Luger in the Hall of Fame, they better put him in this year. I think everyone thinks it's going to be this year. He deserves his moment to go on. I know it's bullshit, but I know it's going to mean a lot to him. Dude, Vader was begging to be in the Hall of Fame. They didn't put him in until after he died. Like, he was begging to be in it. Mick Foley called them and said, "Can you please put Vader in? He's very sick." And they didn't do it. But they put this guy in.
This is such a bullshit.
Because I know. Listen, I agree with you. It's bullshit, but it means a lot to these guys. And the fact that like you're not doing it, and I think Lex really wants it, and he deserves it. He deserves it.
They go the Bella Twins got in the Hall of Fame. The Bella Twins got in the fucking Hall of Fame, but Luna Vachon's like a legacy. No, it's so fucking stupid, dude.
It's so fucking rancid. It's like,
oh my god.
But dude, this match was Abdullah the Butcher. So the show's already bad. Abdullah the Butcher makes the second half of this show like an unwatchable piece of shit.
Yeah. Speaking of, the next few guys that are picked, Sting is picked, and then they put his partner Abdullah the Butcher versus Flying Brian and Bobby Eaton. Butcher comes out and he's got a smile on his face, like he's like happy to team with Sting, but right away he starts attacking Sting, who's his tag team partner. Brian Pillman comes out to try to save Sting, even though they're on opposite teams. And then, like, Eaton comes in, all four of them start fighting. This is our seventh match, Sting and Abdullah Butcher versus Brian Pillman and Bobby Eaton. The story of this match basically is Abdullah the Butcher just keeps attacking his partner, who is Sting. Yeah. And Flying Brian is conflicted because, like, he wants to win, but he's a good guy, and he can't let Sting keeps getting attacked by Butcher. And there's a cool point where Brian Pillman actually body slams Abdullah Butcher, but it's off camera.
Oh, that's good. Why have that on camera?
Yeah, I know exactly. But you know, because you see it go for it, and then they cut away, and you hear the crowd pop huge.
Yeah, right? because that could have been a moment that made Brian Pillman. But why?
Yeah, because Abdullah's a huge fucking guy, but he did it off camera like fucking idiots. And while the referee is distracted, Cactus Jack comes out for some reason, and he hits his own tag team partner, Abdullah the Butcher, by accident, and Sting hits a flying crossbody on Bobby Eaton. So basically, we're watching the same finish twice in a row, flying crossbody up top for the win. And then afterwards, Abdullah the Butcher and Cactus Jack just start fighting after the match. I hated this part.
This was an absolute, again, a waste. You wasted Ricky Steamboat. Who was Ricky Steamboat's partner?
Oh, no. Ricky Steamboat wasn't in this one.
But you already wasted him in that other match. Now you've wasted Brian Pillman, Bobby Eaton, and Sting. Three guys who've had great matches over the last 2 years on these shows. Completely wasted for Abdullah the fucking Butcher, bro. Abdullah, let me ask you. So, I want to get your opinion on this. I hate to change topics, but you know how I said like Abdullah the Butcher's got in the Hall of Fame, even though he helped cover up Bruiser Brody's death, and Bruiser Brody didn't. Do you think if Chris Benoit said, "I didn't kill my family. There's a black guy broke in and murdered my family, and somehow he got away with," and like he went on trial and he was found innocent, and like because he kept saying like some black guy did it, right? Mm-hmm. Do you think he would be like in the Hall of Fame and like working for WWE right now, or they would have been like?
If Chris Benoit was, let's just say he never killed himself.
No, he kills the wife and kid, but then he says,
yeah, but he never killed himself. And
but the key is he says a black guy did it.
Yeah. It turns out that he gets away with murdering his wife and kids. Yeah, he 100% will get it. The same way Jimmy Snuka did.
Yeah, and I think he'd have a job right now for either AEW or WWF.
I wouldn't be surprised if he had a job with WWE.
He'd have it, yeah. But like we know because we know. But like if he like lied about it, I think he would have got away with it because wrestling fans and wrestling is like a scumbag world. He would have got away with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if you guys disagree, I would say there's so many other instances where as long as you don't get caught with it, right? Like as long as you're proven innocent,
Mhm.
not proven innocent, as long as you're not found guilty, you will have a job. And that's like
Well,
we're talking about like, hey, JD McDonough. Here's that's a good example. You
yeah,
know, who else
Austin
was like
Theory.
called out and shit, and they still got a job there?
Well, I
Wolfgang.
the to me the big thing, and my friend goes, "Why did you say black guy?" I go, "Well, he's in the South, so that's what you would do because everyone in Atlanta is like, all those people that live in that area are probably racist, so they'll like jump on that. You know what I mean? They'll
Yeah, I can
jump.
totally see that. I totally
Yeah.
see them jumping on it.
Like if you really want to like frame someone, you would say that. Yeah.
Dude, Vince McMahon got a job back again
Well, he
after
did
all that
murder. He did
fraud.
murder a kid. I'll
Yeah.
give him that we know of.
Yeah.
But yeah. So no, my whole point is Abdul the Butcher has never been good for wrestling. He's always been
No.
bad. He keeps getting jobs, and I hated this match.
Yeah. I
I
didn't I
hated two
wasn't
matches so far. He's ruined two matches on the show so far.
Oh yeah, this was a whole Abdul the Butcher segment. I fucking hated it. It's so
Tony
like
Schiavone goes, Abdul the Butcher and Cactus Jack really stole the show. And so like Vince McMahon didn't want Cactus Jack on the show. Like he had to be convinced to hire him. I'm convinced because of dumb shit like this is why Vince didn't want Mick Foley.
if you read Mick Foley's first book, he fucking really likes Abdul the Butcher.
He still likes him.
Yeah,
I
and
was
it's like
yeah, I was he thinks very highly of the guy.
yeah, and then when you watch their old shit, so I read the book before I really saw this old
Mhm.
footage with him and Abdul the Butcher, and I'm like, why does Mick Foley like this guy so much? This guy sucks so bad. Like he sucks. Like Mick, he could have gave you hepatitis. Like, why do you fucking think this guy is so great? He's fucking terrible.
I don't
He
know.
can't even take bumps. He's so fat. He can't even kick bumps. Like he
He's
just stands, he just walks around. Like
the biggest embarrassment. I'm so tired of people being like giving legend status to people that just don't like that just he just didn't leave. I
yeah,
mean, Doug Summers could be if he just never went away and bled everywhere.
yeah, you're right. It's just like the longer you stay, the longer you stay. That's all it is.
Yeah, you just don't go away.
Yeah. All right. So Bischoff and crew, they pick the next group of people, and it's Rick Steiner, and they pick the Diamond Stud, who is Scott Hall, but he's injured. So his replacement will be the Night Stalker, who is
Adam
Adam
Bomb.
Bomb, a future Adam Bomb. He's very young here, versus Big Van Vader and Mr. Hughes. Like this is gonna be you're like, oh, this is gonna be a fucking hoss fight. Match number 8, Vader and Mr. Hughes versus Rick Steiner and the Night Stalker. And let me tell you something about Rick Steiner. Young Rick Steiner was the fucking man. This guy is manhandling Vader. Like
This was
just
my favorite match.
oh, it's so impressive how like strong Rick Steiner is. Like
Yeah.
he is like he's just picking up and fucking throwing him. There is some confusion in this match where they're just trying to figure out who the legal man is and
I
shit.
kind of feel like Adam Bomb. I kind of feel like everyone knew what they were doing except for Adam Bomb.
Exactly, and
He's
that's the
very
reason why
confusing.
I don't think this was the best match.
Well, I just
It
like
was
seeing.
because of Adam Bomb.
I just like seeing Rick Steiner and Vader beat the shit out of each other. That was fun for me.
Yeah, it is, but I don't think it's the entire match. You know, it's like ultimately like
I mean,
Night
honestly, if you think
Stalker.
well, like if we really think about it, I guess the best match would be Sting and Luger.
No, that's
All right,
part of
so
Battle Bowl.
to me,
That is
this is
awesome.
listen. I'll be honest with you. All the matches here are garbage. This was the least garbage one because I was entertained by them punching each other. That's it.
While it's entertaining, Night Stalker really brings down this match. He's so green. So basically, even at the end, Vader tries to go for a splash on Night Stalker, and the Stalker is like, everyone can see Vader's going for a splash except for the Night Stalker. And Night Stalker is like getting up, and Vader like doesn't give a shit about him, so he just fucking splashes. He almost landed on this guy's fucking head. He could have fucking broke his neck. But whatever. Vader and fucking Mr. Hughes wins. This is probably my second favorite match of the show.
Yeah, I mean, I just really liked seeing what Vader and Steiner were doing, and I was kind of sad. I mean, maybe it happened on the TV show, but I would love to see Rick Steiner Vader 1-on-1.
You know what Rick Steiner should have been? He should have been pushed as a single star.
Yeah, so should have Scott, but for years,
I think what they should have done with Rick and Scott was like after they had their tag team runs, they go like we're gonna make you guys single stars because they're over, they're believable. They're the only ones who look like stars sometimes, you know?
Dude, that's what Vince wanted to do with sorry, dog's barking. That's what Vince wanted to do in WWF, and they wouldn't break up.
Oh, so maybe that's what happened in WCW too, where they said we want to push you guys to singles, and they said no, we want to be a tag team. Maybe they just didn't want to
Why is she barking
break
like?
up.
Well, guys, we're Andrew Lee, bro. Let me just pause for a second, okay?
Okay. Yeah, how they probably didn't want to.
Okay, so yeah, Vince they didn't want to do it, and by the time they wanted to do it, I don't think Rick Steiner was as good of a worker as he is here. So it is what it is.
Yeah, he got old pretty fast. But maybe back in WCW, that same thing happened. They offered to break them up, and they said no.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
yeah, you
I
know
get
what?
it. I get it. They were a good tag team. They're
I
like, hey, I
heard
guess.
Giselle Shaw was the one who recommended it to them. That's why he didn't want to do it.
Oh, Giselle Shaw, yeah. They're like, I'm not taking advice from a tranny.
Yeah.
It's like, you're a man. You're a man. Isn't that what he was shouting at her?
She called him
You're
up.
a man.
You guys should break up, and he was like, absolutely not.
All right. So the next ones that are picked for our next match, it is Scott Steiner with his tag team partner Firebreaker Chip versus Johnny B. Bad and Arachnaman.
Brad
And
Armstrong is Arachnaman.
who?
Brad Armstrong is Arachnaman.
That's right, the Road Dogg's brother. And Scott is the only one that's getting any reaction from this crowd.
Yeah.
This match was a match where I was just like, he's the only star.
Yeah.
Like the other three guys look like jobbers. And just like his brother Rick Steiner, Scott Steiner is just fucking manhandling people, just fucking picking them up, throwing them up. The way the Steiners pick up people, it's like it doesn't look like it's hard at all. And we're talking about like Rick Steiner picking up Vader. It's like so effortless. They just like pick them up, throw them down, and the Steiners are great. And really teaming up with Firebreaker Chip was such a bad idea because it really exposed Chip. Like it was really bad. There were times where Scott Steiner's in the ring and he's just like taking it to Arachnaman, just taking it to Arachnaman. Like Arachnaman, to his credit, he's very fast. He's doing his part. Like I'm gonna move really fast and I'll just take bumps and shit like that. And then he'll tag in Chip, and Chip, there's lots of times where he doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Like he looks around the audience and he goes, hit this guy, and like he just puts him in a headlock, and it's like, what are you doing? Yeah, it just looks really bad. Ultimately, Scott Steiner hits a great looking belly to belly suplex on Arachnaman for the win. Your thoughts?
First of all, I don't know why. Number one, I don't know why they thought they could legally get away with doing a Spider-Man ripoff. Marvel threatened to sue them, which is why this goes away. But then you do a Spider-Man ripoff and you turn him into a jobber. Like, if you want to sell like Arachnaman stuff, like why wouldn't you make him look good? The match sucked. Another shitty match.
Yeah, I can't believe they I don't know how they thought like they weren't gonna get sued. I get it's like ridiculous, you know?
Yeah. I don't know why they were like, oh yeah, this will work out great.
I bet you they were like, we're geniuses. We're the only ones ripping off Spider.
Hey, you know what? Yeah, I wonder if they got away with it. Would they have done like the Badger and like to mock Wolverine, and they would have done like, I don't know, like Bat, maybe turn Sting into Batman. Like I don't know,
I bet they were thinking like, how come nobody else has ever thought of this? That's probably what they were thinking.
So, when I was a kid, because there was a guy who would dress like a Ninja Turtle. His name was Cowabunga. I thought that you could do that. I thought that you could dress like these characters, and so I didn't understand why WWE didn't try Ninja Turtles wrestler and stuff. But then I really,
wasn't that in like
Memphis?
Oh, that was Memphis because
I know Cowabunga.
Yeah, I watched who does this a lot, and I was watching CMLL in the 2000s. They had guys called like Mr. Incredible, and he's just like Mr. Incredible, and he's wrestling. It was insane. I was like watching this guy. I was like,
Marvel has a deal with either CMML or AAA to do.
No, AAA now
has a deal with
Marvel. That's why they have a Marvel Bowl, but this is CMLL, and this is like in the 2000s, back when Mystico was like big, and they had guys like Mr. Incredible just wrestling, and I was like, what the fuck? Like they didn't they just like blatant, just like it's a rip off of the character. It's so funny. But different country, you could do shit like that, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. So the next group up for match number 10. This is the final random tag team match.
This was
It
another
looks
one.
like no, this is the final one.
I thought okay. What was it? Oh yeah,
Oh,
there
it
was
is
one more. Yeah.
yeah, Ron Simmons and Thomas Rich, formerly Wildfire Tommy Rich, versus Steve Armstrong and PN News. And it's so fucking not random because they just pick like each brother gets wrestles right after their other brother's match.
Yeah.
Happened with the Steiners, happened with the fucking Armstrongs. It's so stupid. So Ron Simmons, the point of this match, the story of this match is like Ron Simmons and Tommy Rich, somehow they keep arguing for some reason.
Well, because
They're
Thomas
not
Rich
supposed.
is a heel. Remember, he's part of the York Foundation.
Yeah, but dude, they have so many heel face tag team matches, and nobody else is like this is stupid. They're like not on the same page, but they're like arguing for, but they're not making it clear what they're arguing.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
it's so bad. It's just like it's stupid.
They're
And
trying to
remember,
figure out
this
how to
is
get
one of
fired. That's what they're trying to.
Ron Simmons is like he came back from injury, and Ron Simmons is like a big deal. He was in the main event like a couple of pay-per-views ago,
Yeah.
and he's in here, and it's just so like not good for him. And ultimately, you know, Ron Simmons comes in, he body slams both guys, and hits a spine buster on Armstrong for the win. This was I didn't give a shit about this match at all. Nothing happened.
I hated this. I hated this match. I mean, I know I keep saying that, guys, but this is really there's like nothing redeemable about this show. It is just a waste of 3 hours and a waste
Yeah,
of
yeah, I would not
and
recommend.
a
I don't
waste of
even.
these men's bodies.
You know what though? I hated that match, but not as much as I'm gonna hate this final match.
Can I tell you something? A lot of these guys died sooner than they should have because they wrestled in events like this. Like this, like these people are putting their bodies in the line, and you're putting no thought into the show. Everyone that booked this show should be ashamed of themselves.
I agree. I agree. We're gonna go to our final match, the Battle Bowl. So basically, what's gonna happen is 20 men are gonna be in one ring. And the 20 men are Big Van Vader, Marcus Alexander Bagwell, Jimmy Jam Garvin, Dustin Rhodes, Bill Kazmaier, Jushin Liger, Steve Austin, Richard Morton, Todd Champion, Abdullah the Butcher. Yes, he's in this fucking match. Firebreaker Chip, Tommy Rich, Ron Simmons, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, which is really funny because as he's walking on down the ramp, the fucking cameraman falls down. He like you see the dragon just like looking at the guy. The guy's like fucking falling. That was really funny. Mr. Hughes, Scott Steiner, Lex Luger, Rick Rude, and Arn Anderson and Sting. So 20 men. So the way this looks is there's two, you know how like if you guys watch War Games, there's like two rings, right? Is there two rings? I have no idea.
There's 2 rings of war games, yes.
Yeah, there's two rings, but there's no steel cages. There's two rings next to each other. And all 20 men are in this one ring. And they're doing a battle royal. But here's the thing. It's not a battle royal where if you go over the top, you're out, because plenty of guys are going over the top. You can only go over the top on one side of the ring. And that's the side that's right next to the other ring. So it's really, really bad storytelling because the ring is too full and everyone's just kind of like, like you have to like position your opponent to that one side of the ring and you got to get them over. It's so
Yeah.
bad.
It's really bad.
Yeah. You cut in anytime you want, okay?
Okay.
Tommy Rich is the first one in ring number 2, and followed by Alexander Bagwell, and then Firebreaker Chip and Liger, and Richard Morton, who doesn't even get thrown over. He just walks over to the other ring. I swear to God, he just goes over to the other ring. And here's the thing. He is not the only one who's going to do that. But he comes into the ring, and Richard Morton and Liger, they start doing some cruiserweight stuff. That's trying to get Liger over. And then ultimately, both Liger and Morton are the first two. They eliminate each other. They're both eliminated. Hughes gets into the second ring, and then Tommy Rich gets eliminated off camera. And then Arn Anderson and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, they're wrestling outside the ring, and they somehow make it into ring number 2. right? They never go over the top rope on that one side. They're fighting outside the ring, and they just crawl into ring number 2, and as that's happening, you see Todd Champion just like go through the ropes and go to ring number 2. He doesn't get thrown over. He just like walks over to ring number 2, and you're going like, there's no fucking like, there's no rhyme or reason. People are just, oh guys, it's time to go to ring number 2. So there people are just now deciding to go into ring number 2. It's so bad. There's like, it's not making any sense at all. Scott Steiner, Steve Austin, Abdullah the Butcher, they all go to ring number 2. Jimmy Garvin gets eliminated. Bill Kazmaier, Ron Simmons, Dustin Rhodes, they all go into ring number 2. So Sting and Rick Rude are like one of the few ones that actually make sense. They're fighting, and they kind of like fight into ring number 2.
Okay.
And so the only 2 left in ring number 1 is Lex Luger and Vader. Okay. And Firebreaker Chip gets eliminated, and right after he gets eliminated, Luger does this like flying fucking clothesline really hard on Vader, and Vader fucking goes into ring number 2. That part was cool. I will give him that.
Yeah.
And then, Abdullah Butcher and Bill Kazmaier, they're both eliminated. Thank God. Remember, when you're in ring number 2, anytime
You
you go over
eliminate,
the
you're
top
just
rope,
out.
you're just eliminated.
Yeah.
You're just eliminated. Dustin Rhodes, he drop kicks Arn Anderson out, but then he gets dumped out by Steve Austin. Ron Simmons and Mr. Hughes, they take each other out. They're 10th and 11th out. Steve Austin throws out Bagwell, and but when he does that, Ricky Steamboat and Sting clothesline Vader out 13 for that. So that looks pretty cool. Scott Steiner gets eliminated off camera. And I realized that somewhere in this, Todd Champion also got eliminated, but I never saw it. So the only 4 that are in ring number 2 at this point now are Sting, Steve Austin, Rick Rude, and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Remember, Lex Luger's in ring 1, just watching these 4 guys in ring 2. Rick Rude, he accidentally takes out his stablemate, Steve Austin, eliminates him by accident. But then Rick Rude gets eliminated by Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. But Rude gets so annoyed by this that he just pulls fucking Ricky Steamboat and eliminates him. And he gets back in the ring and he fucking hits the Rude Awakening on Sting. Sting and Lex Luger are the only man left. When there's one man in each ring, now they can start wrestling each other, right?
Yeah.
And the funny part is, Sting took a rude awakening. So he's laying in ring number 2. He's all hurt. And Lex Luger, like, nonchalantly walks his way into ring number 2. And the ref's like, no, you guys got to go back to ring number 1. You guys have to fight in ring number 1. So Lex Luger's like, what? He's so stupid. And he fucking has to go back into ring number 1. Sting goes into ring number 1. And Luger's just beating on Sting. And Sting is trying to fight back. He body slams a Harley Race in the ramp. And, Luger and him keep fighting, and Sting ultimately eliminates Lex Luger to win the first Battle Bowl. That's Battle Bowl. Your thoughts on this fucking clusterfuck?
I hated everything, but you gotta admit, at the end of the night, so this crowd, I feel like this crowd was dead for everything. This crowd was just kind of sitting there watching the show. When Sting won, they woke up. And to Sting's credit, these people sat through 3 hours of fucking garbage. So for them to become awake at the fact that he might win this abortion of a tournament is a testament to Sting. This was horrible.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this thing's over.
This was one of the worst battle royals I've ever seen. This is, I think, you know why Bunkhouse Stampede was better? Because it was shorter.
Oh, and Bunkhouse Stampede was long too.
It was but it was only 2 hours. This is 3.
Oh, I see. I thought you meant the actual event, Bunkhouse Stampede, but yeah, the whole show. This was really bad. This was bad. This was bad. Yeah.
This was like you deserve to be out of business, man. Like you like when you don't watch all these shows, you're like, oh man, I can't believe WCW went under. And then you watch these shows and you're like, yeah, you got to get, you know what? The more I watch this, you really got to give credit to Eric Bischoff. The more I watch this, the more credit I'm giving this guy mentally, because
as much as I hate Eric Bischoff, I think he was the best choice. If you were picking who the next guy is to run it, is either Jim Ross or Eric Bischoff. You 100% would have had 10 more years of this bullshit if Jim Ross would have been there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or even
So Eric Bischoff, even though he's an idiot, he was the best choice at that point.
yeah.
Because Bischoff at least had the foresight to be like, we're never gonna get ahead doing the same shit. Whereas in Jim Ross is gonna be like, so you gotta respect the veterans, and if a new Japanese guy comes in, you gotta make him look like a fucking idiot. You gotta let him fall on his ass. So you gotta have respect for the business. Like
if
you know,
Jim
he would've been
Ross
like that.
got the job instead of Eric Bischoff, we would have saw like Stan Hansen versus Hogan in a bull rope match at Starrcade '94 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah, no,
or
Steve
no, I don't
Williams,
even think
Dr.
Hogan
Death.
would have been signed. It would have been Flair and Stan Hansen in a bull rope match.
Yeah, and Steve Williams, Dr. Death Steve Williams.
Dr. Steve Williams would have been, we're not gonna sign Hulk Hogan. This is real wrestling, by God.
Yeah, it was the same backwards thinking, and it's like to Eric Bischoff's an idiot, but to his credit, he realized like he was like, we can't keep going backwards like this, like and this battle bowl idea is such a bad idea. This is one of the worst wrestling ideas I've ever seen.
Yeah,
it's a bad idea, dude. You got to be in 2 rings, and you got to first take the guy and put him into the other ring, and then you eliminate him. That's so stupid.
If it was just one ring, it would be slightly better. But like,
if it was if it was like a tournament, and then the winning team all gets put into a regular battle royal, right? And you same thing. You go over the top rope, you lose. Yeah, that I like that, right? I wouldn't do it all in one night, but I like that idea. But this is not that idea. This is like you gotta throw the guy into the ring number 2, and it's like what? Why? Why do you need to have 2 rings? Why do you need to have 2 rings? It's so stupid.
Because I think Dusty Rose was like War Games draws. I want to do another War Games, but not have a mat, not have a cage.
Oh, it was awful.
Yeah, it was. I can't believe how bad this show was. I really can't believe how bad this show was. And okay, guys, the next 4 weeks. Next week, Royal Rumble '92.
Thank God.
Royal Rumble. Now that's where you do a battle royal, right? 2 weeks from now, LPWA pay-per-view. I forget what it's called. It's the LPWA, Ladies Professional Wrestling Association show. It's on YouTube. So if you want to watch it for free, you can. You don't have to pay. In 3 weeks, Super Brawl 2 with Sting and Lex Luger. That should have just been the main event of this show. Like for the title, instead of this fucking stupid tournament. And then in 4 weeks, WrestleMania 8, Sid versus Hulk Hogan. What are you looking forward to?
Ooh, Sid versus Hulk Hogan. I never saw that match. I never saw that match. Normally, I would pick Royal Rumble, but I've seen this Ric Flair Royal Rumble win, so I'm gonna go with I'm interested in seeing Sid versus Hulk Hogan. What about you, man?
The Royal Rumble. I just love this Royal Rumble match. It's so much fun. And now that I've seen all of Ric Flair's WCW pay-per-view matches, I think it's going to add a lot to this match.
That's a good point. Yeah,
I always say this match is like the nexus. It's the canon event of WWE, and the nexus of WWE. What I mean by that is like like the nexus of all realities in the Marvel universe. It's Ric Flair, and he's fighting the past, the 80s. He's fighting the present, and he's fighting the future with Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. I mean, there's people in that match that still have roles in some of the big companies right now, It's Ric Flair fighting everyone that matters to WWF and the wrestling world, and he beats them all. And
believe it or not, though, there are still some points in that match where Ric Flair does make mistakes.
I know, but it's just the story of that this guy who was captain NWA comes into the WWF and has to fight all of WWF's multiverse of realities, whether it's the Attitude Era, the Federation Era, even guys like Kerry Von Erich and Ted DiBiase, who are like the Territory Era. He has to fight all these different eras, the new generation, even you can say Ruthless Aggression.
Head shrinkers.
Yeah, and he gets through all of them and becomes the champion when everyone probably thought there's no way Vince will ever give this guy the belt, and he's like 43 when he does it. It's just like one of the best stories ever in wrestling. Like it's one of the the CM Punk return. If you watch everything, if you watch the WWF, then you listen to the podcast, then you watch all the AEW stuff, then you finish it off. If you start from the pipe bomb and you go to last Sunday, That's one of the best like wrestling storylines ever. But I mean, like in terms of like, it's not a storyline because it's real life, but all the twists and turns that this guy goes through with like the podcast, getting sued, going to UFC, going to AEW, getting in that press conference, feuding with Jack, Tony Khan firing him, then finally coming back. It's such a great wrestling storyline, you know?
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I can see it.
Like the twists and turns it takes for him to get back to WWE. And that's, to me, that's like the Ric Flair Royal Rumble. So it's just a great wrestling story.
Well, we're definitely going to see it. Definitely is one of the better Royal Rumbles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, again, we have a Patreon, patreon.com, Goots for Life. If you subscribe on the $5 level, you will get the video. Also, we're going to have a second podcast debuting soon. I think we'll talk about it next week. I'm feeling a little sick from my trip from LA. So we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah.
And but if you also subscribe to Dollar, you just like this podcast. And follow me on TikTok, Ray Goots Comedy, and follow me, Ray Goots, and Andrew Son of Lee on Instagram and stuff, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And subscribe to the podcast and comment. Somebody made a comment about Tony Khan and the CW. We should read the comments when they leave them. We'll start doing that next week. Because someone did leave a comment defending Tony Khan with the CW. When we talked
on
about
what?
That Tony Khan had a good reason to not sign with the CW because he didn't want to upset Warner Brothers Discovery.
Wait, where did this comment come from?
On the YouTube video.
On ours?
Yeah, someone commented.
Oh, I gotta read this, dude. I want to fucking read this comment now.
Someone actually commented. But hey, we will talk it. We'll talk about it next time, guys. Thank you so much for listening. We will see you next week for the Royal Rumble, and the road to WrestleMania 8 starts next week. We'll see you then.